This is my introductory class in linear programming. Today we are going to try and understand which are the situations where linear programming can be used. But even before I start off by discussing about linear programming, let us understand that linear programming is a tool of optimization. Now this optimization term is what we have to understand. Optimization means finding the best possible solution. See, there is a difference between pure mathematics and applied mathematics. In real life, nothing can be like the best in terms of maximum. I cannot say maximum is always the best, nor can I say that minimum is always the best. Under a particular circumstances, minimum may be the best, or under a different circumstances, maximum might be the best. For example, if I am working with cost, if my objective is to bring down cost, to optimize cost, then what do I look for? I look for minimum. And if my objective is to increase profits, that means my objective is profit maximization, then my optimum solution gives me the maximum value. That is for profit, it is a maxima that is optima. For cost, it is a minima that is optima. Optima is the best possible solution. It may be maximum in a certain situation, it may be minimum in another situation. Now, linear programming being a tool of optimization, we have to understand where we can apply this linear programming concept. So, if I try to define linear programming, there are certain aspects that must be available before linear programming can be applied. Number one is that there must be an objective function. What exactly do I mean when I talk of an objective function being present? What I basically mean is that I must have some objective that I am trying to find the solution for. For example, profit. My objective may be profit. I am trying to find the maximum profit. My objective may be cost. I am trying to find the minimum cost. My objective may be time. I am trying to minimize time. Okay? My objective may be efficiency. I am trying to maximize efficiency. So, a problem to be solved using linear programming must have an objective function. That means a mathematical representation of my objective. Now, this mathematical representation obviously will have some decision variables. If we look at simple algebra, we can say they are variables. Here we are calling them decision variables because the value these variables take up will decide which is my best possible solution. Number two, that means I must have some decision variables. Okay? So these decision variables, for example, if I am trying to maximize profit, suppose I am manufacturing 3 products, A, B and C. So what I am trying to do is, I am trying to find out what quantity of A, what quantity of B and what quantity of C should be manufactured so that my profit is maximized. So I may say let X1 be the quantity of A manufactured, let X2 be the quantity of B manufactured, let X3 be the quantity of C manufactured. So X1, X2, X3 become my decision variables in this particular example. Okay. So, let me take up a small example simultaneously. If I talk about these 3 products, A, B and C, then what happens is, if I say, let us say, every unit of A sold gives me rupees 5 profit. Every unit of B sold gives me rupees 6 profit. Every unit of C sold gives me rupees 3 profit. So then, what is my profit? Now I have already said that I am going to sell x1 units of A, x2 units of B, and x3 units of C. So as a result, my profit will become 5x1. That means every unit is giving me a profit of rupees 5. I am selling 5 units of A. Every unit of B sold gives me a profit of rupees 6. So if I am selling x2 units, it is 6x2. And every unit of C sold gives me a profit of rupees 3. And I am selling x3 units of C. So it becomes 3x3. So this entire thing becomes my objective function. So I may say, now since I am trying to maximize my profit, I may say maximize Z equal to 5x1 plus 6x2 plus 3x3. This becomes my objective function. And here x1, x2 and x3 become my decision variables. Now, the third thing that should be available in a problem so that we can solve it using linear programming are constraints. Now, what are these constraints? Constraints are the restrictions you put on the objective function. Let us try to understand what exactly I mean by this. Now, in this example I have taken up, I have said that we are manufacturing 3 particular products and we are trying to maximize our profit. Now, we have to decide how much of A, how much of B and how much of C we are going to manufacture. And we have found out that every unit of A sold gives us a profit of rupees 5, B sold gives us a profit of rupees 6 and C sold gives us a profit of rupees 3. Now, if I can manufacture more and more of x1, x2 and x3, I can make more and more of profit. So my profit can go to infinity, but definitely that is not possible. There is some restriction. Which are these restrictions? These restrictions could be raw material, availability of raw material. I may not have abundance as far as availability of raw material is concerned. Then machine time. Now I have limited number of machines. I cannot go on feeding the jobs on the machines for infinite amount of time. So this is a restriction. So that means these restrictions are called constraints. Let us look at some examples of restrictions. Let us say that A, B and C, for the sake of simplicity, are manufactured using 2 different machines, M1 and M2. Let us say while trying to manufacture A, I need, let us say, 5 minutes on machine 1 and 6 minutes on machine 2. Let us say while trying to manufacture B, I need 4 minutes on machine 1 and maybe 3 minutes on machine 2. Let me say while trying to manufacture C, I require 4 minutes on machine 1 and 4 minutes on machine 2. And let me say that total available time with me on machine 1 is 2 hours. That means I can use my machine 1 for only 2 hours. In other words, 120 minutes. Right? And this is my, I'm referring to machine 1. And let us say with machine 2, my total available time is 90 minutes. Okay? Total available time is 90 minutes. Now look at this. If I look at this, but this is my machine 1 constraint. Now, I am manufacturing x1 units of A. So, time taken on machine 1 by A is 5 into x1. Every unit will require 5 minutes and x1 units manufactured. So 5 into x1 time will be taken up by product A's manufacture in terms of machine 1. Then if I look at the product B, every unit of product B takes 4 minutes on machine 1 and we are manufacturing x2 units of product B. So total time taken up by product B on machine 1 is 4x2. Again, if you look at product C, it is taking, each unit of product C is taking 4 minutes on machine 1 and x3 units are being manufactured. So 4x3 is the total time taken up on machine 1 by product C. So this entire time that we have calculated taken up by product A, B and C should not exceed, should be less than equal to 120 minutes. This is my machine 1 constraint. Okay. Then if you look at machine 2, similarly 6 minutes for each unit of A, that is 6x1, plus 3 minutes for each unit of B, that is 3x2, plus 4 minutes for each unit of C, that is 4x3, should be less than equal to 90 minutes. So these two become constraints for me. Now, there is a third thing we have to look at. See, we have spoken about the objective function, we have spoken about the decision variables, we have spoken about the constraints. There is something else, that is non-negativity restriction. That means the variables or the decision variables we have just referred to cannot be negative. They may be 0 or they have to be positive. That means you look at this example that I may manufacture 0 units of A or 0 units of B or 0 units of C, or I will manufacture some positive quantity of A, B and C. I cannot manufacture minus 20A, nor can I manufacture minus 20B. Similarly, I cannot manufacture minus 5C. So, you see, the decision variables in linear programming can never take up negative values. Suppose for calculating efficiency, I am trying to find out how many people with skill 1 are required, how many people with skill 2 are required, how many people with skill 3, skill 4 and skill 5 are required. I can keep 0 number of people with a certain skill, but I cannot keep negative number of people. So this is one vital restriction put in case of linear programming. So these variables have to be non-negative. So see, what all did we find? We have to have objective function, we have to have decision variables, we have to have constraints, and we have to have non-negativity restrictions. Now, when we are referring to constraints, that means we are trying to say that these values should have some restriction on them. You do not have abundance of availability of these values. Now, coming back to the word linear. Linear means the relationships that are expressed in terms of your constraints and your objective function are all linear in nature. They are not quadratic in nature. For the people who are not from the mathematics background, let me try to explain this point. A linear relationship means all the decision variables will be in power of 1. That means we will never have x1 squared or x2 cubed or x3 raised to the power of 4. All of them are x1 raised to the power of 1, x2 raised to the power of 1, x3 raised to the power of 1. Whether it is in the objective function or in the constraints we have referred to. And when we are trying to represent this problem, we cannot forget this representation, x1 greater than equal to 0, x2 greater than equal to 0, and x3 greater than equal to 0. That means these are the non-negativity restrictions we are referring to. So if you look at this entire thing, it defines your linear programming problem. Okay, so this is called the formulation of the linear programming model. So I took up an example, simple example to show you the formulation of the linear programming model. In the next class, I'll take up more complex examples to show you the formulation of the linear programming model.